Hey guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this thrilling Thursday here in Connecticut. Life's good, campers. Life is good. Anyway, I resort to familiar territory. You saw the thumbnail. All Hail Herseth. I use this one clip that I put down below before, but it really ties in to what we've been talking about with compression and, burp and all that sort of stuff. So let me honk a little bit. Haven't played yet. Did a 20-mile bike ride. Did some kettlebells. Am I warmed up? We'll see. Double C's in Arbin. In this case, E flat's above double C in Arbin. Anyway, Herseth. Guys, when we're talking my Mount Rushmore, my goat, and all this sort of stuff, depends on what day it is, but it's all been the same. Maynard, Harry, Horst, Mel, Herseth, he's always there. He's always there. And every once in a while, I've run across something that is just really, really telling. And as I said, I used this video once before, but check this out. Now, this is him just in his studio at home. A bunch of yahoos got some of his time, and he played a couple things. Now, I don't know if he was still with the symphony at this time. He was obviously, as you'll hear, well past it. I'm thinking he probably wasn't. He probably retired by then. And this is not vintage Herseth by any means. Okay? But I want you to listen, especially the first couple minutes of those scales and arpeggios he played. Guys, you talk about pop. Guys, it is perfect. It is absolutely some of the best shows of pop I've ever heard. It's incredible. And he is not playing above a high C. He goes on to play a little piccolo. He farts around with some high Gs. But again, obviously well past it. Now, here's the thing. That one thing that I opened with kettlebells, he couldn't have done that. He couldn't have done that. But his compression is perfect. Could Harry James, when he was drunk, have done that kettlebell? Doc, towards the end of his career, and extended his career, probably could have done the kettlebell, even though he was more weights and stuff like that. Maynard, towards the end of his career, couldn't. No. Guys, the point is, you don't need the kettlebell to become great as long as you have the compression. Now you'll see, guys, there's no stretch at all. No stretch at all. Okay? They're not really great close-ups of his chops, but there's no stretch at all. Okay? And the pop is absolutely perfect. And needless to say, he's not remotely overblowing. This is just his tiny little studio, as opposed to, Symphony Hall in Chicago or something. But, guys, perfect example of pop. Anyway, also you notice he goes from one mouthpiece to this mouthpiece to that mouthpiece to the other mouthpiece. Guys, you can't do it on those mouthpieces. You have to jump around or it's not going to work. The 1SB is all you need. If you want to get really, really strict about it, throw in the 1SS for a certain type of thing. Boom. Guys, that's it. He must have had 100 mouthpieces there. And seems to have used all of them at one time or another. They're just Vacchiano persona. Vacchiano had thousands. And they were all ruined. But anyway, I digress. But Herseth, man, even to this day. And guys, look, I have nothing against the orchestra players of today. Nothing. But they couldn't touch what Herseth was doing. Guys, they're not in the stratosphere of Herseth. Excellent players, not in the stratosphere of Herseth. Just my humble opinion. And, I mean, this is how many years later? How many years since he retired? How many years since he's passed? None of them caught up, and they're not going to. I thought Batayan might have been the personification of there is, but I've heard a couple things of him, man, and his chops are down. His chops are down. But anyway, maybe we'll do a video on that down the road too. But all hail Herseth, man. All these years, him, Mel, incredible. Absolutely incredible. Bud, we miss you. We need you terribly on the orchestral scene. Now, before I go, that's another thing. If Herseth auditioned for the Boston Symphony, the New York Philharmonic, the Chicago Symphony today, and played like he did back in his heyday, he probably would not get the job. Now, he is such a great player with such incredible control over his instrument. He could adapt to anything any of those guys were doing and play underneath them, play over them, whatever they wanted. But the way he played for Schulte back in the day, that wouldn't work today. And guys, that, I make no bones about it, guys, that is probably the reason for the decline in brass playing more than anything else. Is because none of these conductors don't have Herseth there. And it's a completely different sound they have in the ear. And obviously, I mean, you pay, a conductor all this money to be your director of music. You pander to what his philosophy is. And if that doesn't happen to be what Schulte heard in his ear, or what Bernstein heard in his ear, or what Fritz Reiner heard in his ear, whatever, then you've got a really, really, to my way of thinking, an inferior product. Anyway, Bud, we miss you. God bless you. Love you all. We'll talk again tomorrow.